Welcome back to the Tigers Den, guys. I am your host, Big C Got Game. Yo, before we get started, you know what we got to do, man. Make sure you guys go smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're brand new, and don't forget to hit those links down in the description. Follow your boy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Big C Got Game. Well, our Tigers are coming off a big win against Colorado State. 42-32 was the final. Martez Carter had a huge day on the ground. But we're going to look at Devontae Kincaid first. He finished 22 of 30 for 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He had complete control of the offense this week. Honestly, the way he was throwing the ball, the way he was moving the offense, keeping the tempo up, I was very, very happy and impressed. On the ground, like I said, Carter had a huge day. 23 carries for 154 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an impressive run. They got his first touchdown. He bowled over the safety. Carter has been balling out the last 3 games, showing why he is the star on this offensive side of the ball. Kincaid carried the ball 15 times for 49 yards and had a touchdown. That's the only part of the game that I was a little disappointed in. Colorado State definitely focused on the option, and they were forcing him to give up the ball to Carter, which we were happy about, but I would love to see Kincaid get about 65 to 75 yards a game. The receivers balled out. Darrell Clark had a huge day. 9 grabs for 142 yards and a touchdown. Khalif Salmon, 5 grabs for 102 yards, no touchdowns. But Kygler got into the end zone. Our big tight end had 2 grabs for 8 yards and 1 touchdown. Davis, Pat, and Carter all had 2 grabs as well. But Clark and Salmon were definitely Kincaid's favorite targets this week. Clark had a huge catch where he adjusted to the ball and let the corner run past him, and he came back to the ball and caught it and walked into the end zone. And Salmon's downfield speed is dangerous, and we're definitely starting to take advantage of it. On defense, Bridgewater, Christmas, and Meander led the way for us. Bridgewater finished with 11 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and an interception. He was all over the field. I'm happy because this kid is a sophomore, so he still has 2 more years in the program. And if he continues to ball like that, I guarantee you he will be our first draft pick in this dynasty. Christmas finished with 9 tackles. He's starting to solidify himself as a solid middle linebacker, and Meander had 3 tackles on the day. Linebacker Freeman finished with 1 sack. Johnson had a sack, and Brandon Varner had a sack, and that's his first sack since week 1 in his 3 sacks. Corner Trayvon Jerry chipped in with an interception. All in all, the defense played very well. I was very happy with their effort. They held Stevens to 215 yards passing and 1 touchdown. Rushing, they completely shut down their rushing game. You take away that 1 long run by Matthews, the 44-yard run, and this running game was non-existent. So I'm very happy, and they did a great job. We gave up a 100-yard receiver to Gallup. He had a garbage time deep route. He went 89 yards to the house. But if you take those 89 yards away, he only had 22 yards receiving on 3 grabs. So the defense played solid. We have to still work on our kickoff coverage and our punt coverage because some of these teams are getting great field advantage because we're getting blown up on kickoff return. So we put a bow on week 6 and look ahead to the top 25 where Ohio State still sits in the number 1 spot. Bama, Washington, USC, Georgia, Penn State, Vodtech, Oklahoma, Stanford, and Clemson round out your top 10. Florida State falls from 3 to 12 after losing to Maryland. Kansas State, Mississippi State, Auburn, Oregon, Wisconsin, Michigan, NC State, Memphis moves into your top 25, Texas A&M, Oregon State moves in, Houston's undefeated, USF moves in, and Missouri round out your top 25. So it's time to hit the trail and check out our recruiting board, and a lot of players have Grambling as their number 1 team, including Charlie Brooks, the running back from Arizona. We move ahead of Alabama, and the lead is starting to grow. Corner from Oklahoma, John Nichols, JUCO corner. He has Grambling State as his number 1 team too, 6'1", 179. If he signs with Grambling, he would be cornerback number 1, day 1. JUCO safety Brian Smith also has Grambling State as his number 1 team, and the lead is starting to grow over Tulane in Texas. Julius Lamb moves Grambling back into his number 1 team over Southern. Newly added Gerald Cox has Grambling State as his number 1 team over Ole Miss and Louisville. Athlete James Herron has Grambling State as his number 1 team over Notre Dame. We're trailing for William Higgins. He's the running back that the scouts found in New York. But I think if we keep showing him that we can run the ball, he will definitely have Grambling as his number 1 team. Reggie Pierce, he came on a visit this past week, and he loved campus, and he got Grambling as his number 1 team, and the league continues to grow over North Texas. He'd be a solid nickel corner, even a cornerback number 2 if we can't land Julius Lamb. And this guy, he is probably the most hated person in the comment section right now. Danny Sanders, a 6'4" athlete from Louisiana. He's getting ready to sign with Grambling State. A lot of you guys were telling me I should take him off my board. But when you're a team that's like a 67 or a 68, you got to get players like this. He's an athlete. Honestly, I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put him yet. His speed isn't that great, but he can cover. He can't really tackle, so I'm thinking I might put him on the defensive line, but his block shedding is terrible. This is going to be interesting. I'm interested to see where he can end up playing, because that block shedding, I'm just looking at it now. He's got a 36 as a block shed, 29 as a power move, and 27 as a finesse. So what position would he play? You guys leave comments down below. What position should Danny Sanders play? Now it's time to look ahead to week 7 as our Tigers travel to Chapel Hill, North Carolina to take on the UNC Tar Heels. So UNC is coming in 3-2. They beat South Carolina, ECU, then took a whooping to Georgia Tech, beat Syracuse, and then lost to number 7 Virginia Tech. The Tar Heels this year are led by Chaz Surratt, and he's a baller. He's thrown for 769 yards, 7 touchdowns, but he's thrown for 7 interceptions. On the ground, Surratt leads the way in rushing too, so we're going to have to contain him. He's rushed for 555 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's handed off to Jordan Brown, a sophomore from North Carolina. He's got 65 carries for 344 yards, but no touchdowns. Michael Carter is a freshman who's seen a lot of playing time, 26 carries for 134 yards and 2 scores. So we're going to have to make sure we have a spy on Surratt the entire game, because it looks like he's going to be the one taking him off with the ball instead of handing it off. Surratt's throwing to Austin Prohl. I think this might be Ricky Prohl's son. 16 grabs for 160 yards and 3 touchdowns. Then you have Jordan Cunningham, the senior, 14 grabs for 190 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Thomas Jackson, another senior, 12 catches for 151 yards and 1 touchdown. And their big tight end, Brandon Fritz, he's 6'4" with 9 grabs for 136 yards and a touchdown. So he has a very experienced wide receiving group. All of these guys are seniors, so you know they can run routes and they have great catching ability. On defense, Kason Collins leads the way for the team. He's got 34 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Then you got Cole Holcomb. He's got 32 tackles and 3 tackles for loss. And left end Tyler Powell looks like he's going to be a terror. 27 tackles, 8 tackles for loss. And he leads the team in sacks, too, with 2.5. Aaron Crawford, big defensive tackle, 6'1", 310. He's got a sack and a half. And the other defensive end, DeJuan Drennan, has a sack. We have to be careful of Miles Dorn. The sophomore has 3 interceptions on the season already. And MJ Stewart, he's the star of their defense. He's a 91 overall. He's got 23 tackles and 2 interceptions. And as we take a look at the preview, Kurt Herbstreit is picking Grambling State to pull the upset over UNC. Now, will that happen? You guys got to come back next week and find out as we head to Chapel Hill to take on the UNC Tar Heels. Thank you guys so much for watching, man. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're brand new. And don't forget, hit those links down in the description. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Big C Got Game. And like I said before, leave comments down below. Where should Danny Sanders play? What position should he be? And also, what do you think our odds are against North Carolina? Love to hear from you guys. I'm going to start featuring your comments in the video, probably on the bottom, just randomly throughout the video. So make sure you drop those comments down below. And we'll talk again in North Carolina. Come on and raise up. Have a great day, guys. 2 fingers in the air. Peace.